Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Sorry if you got a bunch of notifications about live videos. I don't know what's going on. Just woke up, and I guess I hit the wrong button. There you go. Let's start off today's video with a cup of coffee. Here we go. It's been a while since I did a basic YouTube without StreamYards, but I don't know. It's just me by myself today talking about comics. All right, got a thumbs up already. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to filibuster for a minute or two till I know that I'm actually live. Oh, I got 2 people in the chat. Thank you. Let me know. The routine. Let me know if I look good, sound good, and then I'll stop wasting everybody's time and actually talk about what I want to talk about. I will take another sip of coffee. It is, for those of you who do not know, I'm recording from New York. And New York right now is a furnace. New York is hot and it's muggy. I'm down in the basement. My wife and I actually slept down in the basement because the AC upstairs crapped out. We bought an AC unit last summer. Last summer it was fine. It was wonderful. It was dandy. And then this summer it just slowly stopped working to the point where all it does is blow hot air into the living room. So my wife called up about the warranty, and they gave her. Oh, thank you, Marcus. Marcus gave us a confirmation. Okay, good. I'll just finish the air conditioner story, and then I will begin. So it's just blowing out hot air into the living room, making everybody miserable. So, we have a small house. One air conditioning unit will do the whole house. So it's nice, but it died. So my wife called up. She's too nice of a person. They gave her a form to fill out. I call up yelling and screaming. They gave me a full. They can't. Nobody repairs air conditioners. Little window units. So they reimbursed me the whole money. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Lacey. Good to see you. Good morning, Abrax. So that's good news. So I'll pick up a new AC unit. In the meantime, we bought a dehumidifier. It's just so humid. But downstairs in the basement where I do all these videos, I have one of those split units. When I fixed up the basement, I splurged and got like you can see it up there. One of those you see up there. I got a split unit, and oh my God, it is the best. So we've been living down in the basement. Come home from work, come down the basement. Last night we actually slept on the recliners in front of the TV. I slept fine. My wife had a miserable night's sleep. I set my alarm for 9 o'clock, got out of bed at 9:30, grabbed all my comics, and here I go. Okay, nobody wants to hear that. Waiting for the coffee to activate. So here we go. Here's another sip of coffee, and we will begin today's talk. Okay, so there you go. I can feel the caffeine going directly into my brain. There's not too many AC units. Everyone has central air. Yes. My wife and I were discussing that last night. This year we're not really doing any like luxury projects in the house. I would like to fix up the backyard. We got this empty backyard. Neither one of us go back there. And when we bought the house, it came with like a wooden deck. But the wooden deck, it's nice. We put the barbecue there, but it's falling apart. The deck has got, I don't know how many years old it is, but it smells like there's like a dead animal under there. So you don't even want to go back out there, So I would like to tear the deck apart and then extend it like an L, so it goes behind the whole house, and then eventually cover that. But that's a luxury. So that was going to be next year's project. Like next year, I was going to work on the backyard. But I think it's more imperative that we save up and actually do central air in the house. So I think the backyard project will be put on delay. So yes. Hey, Madness Comic Network. I caught you guys live last night. I was watching you guys last night, but I commented in the comments. But you guys look like you had taken Facebook comics. So I was trying to talk to you guys. Okay, focus. So that's what's going on in my life. All right. Second thing I wanted to discuss is if you haven't seen already, I put up a couple of community posts. I put out a page of layout introducing my original character, the patriarch. We couldn't really do Central in New York. Yeah. Well, we have the perfect house for it. When I got my split unit down here, I actually had the guy do it, give me an estimate for the central air upstairs, and he said my house is perfect for it. We have many shows. We try to keep an eye on all the different places we are broadcasting. Hard to keep. Yep. So which madman from Madness Comic Network am I speaking with now? Okay, focus. I'm just trying to wake up and do the right thing. Okay, so. Oh, Pops, good to see you, Pops. I've been hearing good things about you, Pops. Nice to finally talk to you. The offender? You're the offender. The founder. I know, I was just goofing with you. All right, so back to comics. So let's talk about channel news before I go anywhere else. So it's no surprise to anybody who watches and listens to my channel, John's Longbox, that I'm a big comic book freak. First off, I wanted to talk about my comic book database is vaporized. It was lost. My hard drive crashed. I don't know why. Sometimes I leave the computer on, maybe the heat down here, because I'll turn the split unit off and everything like that when I go to work. Who knows? No use speculating over it. It's not that therein lies the path to madness. My friend Paul, who's a computer guy, came down to the house and he could not recover. Luckily he recovered some photographs of my wife and I. We took trips to Providence, Long Island to see Rhode Island to see H.P. Lovecraft's towns. So those pictures survived. So that's good. Pictures of our cat that passed on. Lovely pictures. So that's good. But we couldn't get my hard drive. So I decided I'm going to make a series of videos. I was going to call it Lemons to Lemonade, but that doesn't really sound comic booky. So I'm just calling it, cataloging my collection. I made a little short intro to it yesterday if you want to check it out. It's me in my comic book room telling what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go one box. I'll scan everything. Matter of fact, here, I'll show you this. This is the scanner that I bought. I had one already, but it's got a cord. This one has a cord because it's charging, but it's wireless. So I could scan the barcodes of comics and it goes right into my database. So I will be talking about that more when I actually start doing those videos. Sorry about the shaky cam. This is me just on the phone. But so that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the whole box, put it together, and so I'll be familiar, and then I'm going to turn on the camera, and I'm going to talk about notable things from each box. So that series of videos will be 150 videos long, because that's how many long boxes I have. And who knows how long it'll take. It'll take forever. So I'll probably do like a bunch of boxes one day, do a couple of videos, and then time release them throughout the world. Oh yes, Madness Comics. I have go check out the video that I posted yesterday. It's a short 2-minute video, and it shows my comic book room. Yes, I have 53,000 comics, over 150 long boxes, and because I'm a crazy person. Yes. So 40 years a lot. Just it does. What I have doesn't diminish what you have. I'm not one of these Marxist people that believe in zero-sum losses. We could all have a lot of comics. I have a delete. Oh, well, cool. I'm a lunatic. I've been collecting. I'm 54 years old. I've been collecting. I learned to read on comics. I've been collecting comics. I throw out the number 1975. I've been collecting comics since 1975. Okay, so that's the first bit of channel news. The second bit of channel news is, it's no secret that I've been wanting to make a comic book. And I don't think my star is going to rise any higher. Strike while the anvil is lukewarm instead of hot. And so I talked with Renzo Rodriguez, and he is going to do a couple of pages of layout, where to show it around, see if anybody's interested, and then see where to proceed. So I have a couple ideas, but I'll keep those ideas to myself of how to actually make the comic. But because of what I was saying about the central air, and then I got to get a new boiler and whatever. I don't mean to do the woe is me. I found out that I could get live chats. I'm not asking for live chats. I'm just saying I was surprised to find out when I had EVS on. A couple of his guys threw me some live chats. So then I checked out how to claim that money, and I realized I could do memberships. So, ta-da! I hate this. I feel like a cam girl. They have all of these tiers for memberships. I did the bottom tier because whatever. So for $4.99 a month, you could support me. I've already put like community posts for members only. I hate this stuff. I feel like a bad person. But that money will be to pay Renzo, to pay my colorist who I don't know who it is yet, to pay my letterer who I don't know who it is yet. And part of that tier is you will get a signed copy of the book because it'll come here and I'll mail it to you. If you support it on whatever Kickstarter on your own, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But for your monthly membership, you will get a copy of all of my books plus access to layout pages and whatever. I don't even know what else to offer. I'm so bad at this. So you guys are just being nice if you decide to support me. So thank you. Also, Madness Comic Network has a live Kickstarter. I backed you guys. I backed you at the $70 tier, and they're trying to get a Roku channel and talk about comics on Roku. So that's great. They're a bunch of comic book fans. So check them out. Matter of fact, I'll put the link in the description. Now let me look at. Okay. We do a live show on Sundays 3:30 called the Show Offs. We are covering Thor right now. We definitely need to get together. Yeah, absolutely. I started this channel, Pops. I guess I could call you Pops. Let me know what I could call you. I started this channel to talk about comic books with comic book fans. So yes, it's all about talking about comic books. If my channel was to stop tomorrow, if everybody was to abandon me and I'm by myself, I have already succeeded in my dreams, which was to talk to comic book fans. You want to know how successful this channel is? This came in the mail yesterday. Brian Bow of Wolf and Batsy. I didn't ask him to do this. He just surprised me. He sent me this wonderful original drawing. This is hand-drawn on a comic book backing board. And he sent it to me because he said that I've been the greatest cheerleader of his comic. And I didn't do it to get a piece of art from Brian. I did it because I liked the comic. And from the comic, I got to meet Brian. Brian has been a friend. There's no other way to describe. We talk every day. He's just a great guy. I love Brian. I love Josh Howard. If you've been on my channel, you're my friend. It's that easy for me. I'm that easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. If we've talked live, I'm not even joking. Like if I consider, I'm getting emotional now, but anyway, focus. So yes, so that's what I'm saying about this comic. So now that I want to try to venture into making a comic book, that's gravy. And yes, Renzo is going to draw it. Renzo Rodriguez, he's been on my live chat. Renzo Rodriguez is too pure for this earth. The man is an angel in flesh. He's a great guy. He's an amazing talent. Go check out the layout pages. I put page 2, which is the introduction of my character, the Patriarch. But I put a couple of other pages because I got to give the membership people something. I hate doing that stuff, but I got to do it. Pops is good. We have about 4 weekly shows. Okay, cool, Pops. Wolf and Batsy 67. Great. The great kids love it. Okay, yeah, come on my show. I'll talk to you after I'm done recording. Wow, 7 people, 5 likes already. Thank you. I sound like a cam girl. I'm starting to get embarrassed with myself. Okay, so full disclosure. I'm in talks with JM DeMatteis. He's going to come on my channel and talk. Big fan of JM DeMatteis. For those of you who do not know who JM DeMatteis is, he was on Hero Comics. Go say hi to him. You're talking about Marcus. You're talking about JM DeMatteis. JM DeMatteis is a longtime comic book writer. For the most part, he's been with DC. I kind of knew him forever. He's one of those writers that just started writing before I really started paying attention to names. Like, let's all be realistic. When we were kids, we bought comic books because of the characters. You liked Wolverine. You didn't care who wrote Wolverine. You liked the Punisher. You liked Spider-Man. Whatever. Batman. You bought the. Oh, you're talking about Renzo? Yes, Renzo. Then you know what I'm talking about, Marcus. Renzo is. I think if you turn off the light, he kind of glows with the inner goodness of heaven. The guy is so good. Super talented, and the nicest person on the planet. I feel like I'm spoiling his perfect humanity by even talking to him. Like I'm not worthy of him. He is so good. I could rant and rave about him. But JM had a long arm kept. Yes, that's right. He did do a Marvel comic. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Marcus. But all of a sudden, like it was the Bwahaha Justice League. I guess that's what everybody calls it. But it was him and Keith Giffen writing it, and Kevin Maguire was the artist. And it was that's when I was like, this guy's a superstar. And it's kind of funny because JM DeMatteis is very spiritual and very otherworldly, very ethereal. He's concerned with like the eternal subjects, and and I'm kind of a goofball. I'm kind of goofy, but I do have this spiritualness, and I've always been a fan of his. Like I talked about the matter of fact, I was on one of the Madness Comic Network's Robo Art Friday. I'll put a link in the description. Oh, check it out in the community notes. I put a link to that. I talked to him. That was a lot of fun, and I talked about how Grant Morrison Doom Patrol changed my life. So I'm a worldly New Yorker, but I'm also like I don't know, head in the clouds kind of guy. So JM DeMatteis is just in my wheelhouse. Just excellent. Just an excellent writer. Very, very thought provoking. And his stories to me are always filled with like a sense of longing that gives you that. You know what I'm talking about? That longing. It's like a painful feeling in your heart, but it's like a good kind of painful, like a desire for betterness. That's what JM DeMatteis always inspires in me, and I love the man for it. And full disclosure, he's going to be coming on my channel. We just haven't locked down a date yet, so there you go. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. So the funny thing is, as I was pursuing him to come on my channel, he started doing a Kickstarter, and he did 4 Suprise Comics, and then because he is a great guy, it turned into 5 comics. So he hit a stretch goal, and he made a 5th comic. And why isn't my 5th comic showing up here? Oh, here it is. I didn't take it out of the bag yet, so this is going to be difficult to take this out of the bag one-handed. But so this is today's topic, and I'm not going to show the entire comics because you can get them right now. Yes, he drew the Kraven's Last Hunt. Forgive the wobbly camera right now. I'm taking a comic book out of the bag. And I'm trying to do it without getting tape on it. There you go. All right. So, yes, he drew Kraven's Last Hunt. How could I forget that? Perhaps one of the best Steve Ditko, Stan Lee Spider-Mans. So here we go. Let's take a look at his comics. I'm been not filibustering, but wasting time. So, again, anything... And I hate saying this, guys. I apologize. I feel dirty after talking about the spiritual wonderfulness of Renzo. Super chats and memberships have been enabled. I'm still not monetized. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I hate talking about money. I am an electrician. I do good for myself. You know, my personal life is taking all my pay. The property taxes in New York went up $600 a month since I moved here 3 years ago. I'm actually hiring a lawyer to combat that. That was going to be my comic book money. But since that's happening, any super chats, any membership goes directly to making a comic book, meaning Renzo and Craftsman. So there we go. So I'm going to put these comics over here because they're going to fall off the lip. And we'll talk about Any Man right now. Look at this wonderful cover. An homage to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and the art. Well, let's open it up. So it's first off, it's Spellbound Comics. That's the name of his comic book company. That's his imprint. And here we got. I got the A covers. There's different covers. Kevin Maguire. That one hurt not to get, but I always get the A covers. Why? Because I don't support the. And I'm not calling this nonsense. I'm just calling this smart business because there's not 37 covers, and why not have Kevin Maguire? Geez. But I only get the A covers of all comic books because I don't like the variant covers. And that's going to be a labor that I'm going to struggle with when I finally get my covers. Do I have variant when I have my comics? Do I have variant covers? I don't know. I'm literally struggling. I sound like a snowflake. So this is the credits. Kevin DeMatteis is the writer. Keith Champagne, crowdfunding manager. Who's the artist? Why can't I see the artist? Any Man logo by David. Who's the artist? Why can't I see the... Oh, Baldion, Hiesel, and Esposito. So what we have here, and I'm only going to show a couple... Oh, Kevin Maguire's from Long Island? I didn't know that. I live on Long Island. So here we have this Any Man. He's dying. He's dying. And then what? We have another Any Man. And it's not multiverse. It's not any of that. What we have here is the story of the world's only superhero. As far as I know, each one of these comics is in its own little continuity, its own universe. And these are like high concept. So what they have in this world is everybody, you have this Krypton, the last dying world, and crowdfunders have different reasons for it. Yes, they do. They need to sell the comics. You know what I mean? They don't have a publisher. I understand that, and I'm trying to be forgiving. But I got too many comics. I just want one copy of each comic. Sometimes when you do a crowdfund, you get a whole bunch that at the basic level, but thank you, because they're giving me more comics for my money, so I appreciate it. I will be struggling with what I got to do. So man, here's his story. His people were dying. What it was in this particular world is they're from the future. So in the future, everything's paradise, and what they're going to do is they're selecting the perfect representative to go back in time to help us in the troubled times, and that's what man is. So man comes from the future to save us all, beating up criminals, saving little kids from earthquakes, delivering food. He is just the greatest, swellest guy ever. Holding up a united world. The UN. I'm not a big fan of the UN. And clap, 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 clap. And now this scientist who's in charge of the Man Project is talking to this guy. And why? Because they're looking for a perfect person who could fit the mold and select. He will be the next Man. What are we talking about? And then he, cut to now. The truth is, they basically took like Nazi experimentations, and all of this horrible stuff, and they made a superhuman. And the superhuman burns himself out in like a year. And they try to pick a person who looks like him. So every year they give this chemical process to the new one, and he becomes Man. So Man seems to always be young and immortal. Why? Because it's different people. The real Man dies. He's not from the future. That's all a hopeful BS story, and they're kind of using it to control the populace. The problem is, the last Man didn't die. They perfected the serum, and now he's like a walking revenant. And he comes out. And I'm going to stop here. I showed more than I wanted to, but that's Man. And here, his back covers. This is the 4 offerings, and then there was one surprise comic. This was excellent. This was absolutely excellent. And for those of you who've been watching my channel for the longest time, know that I only showcase comics that I actually like. I will show a comic that I do not like if I want to make a point. And, and it's not just to be like, this stinks. I will only showcase comics that I don't like if there's a reason to point out something, to explain something, to clarify something, because the internet is too negative. I'm starting to wake up now, as you can tell. But this was excellent. I love the concept. I love superheroes. I'm not big on deconstruction of superheroes, but this is JM DeMatteis. I trust him. He's an excellent writer. He's been a writer that we're talking about stuff, Craven's Last Hunt, his Captain America run, his Justice League run. He had a comic called The Seekers that I just read. I missed it coming out. It was like a 15-issue series that just blew me away. Oh, I forgot because I was sleepy and now I'm awake. I became a JM DeMatteis fan, and why have I not showcased this comic with the Marvel graphic novel called Greenberg the Vampire? I absolutely loved Greenberg the Vampire. Good morning, Genuine Comics. Good morning. If there's anybody in the chat that I missed you, please repost and I'll say hello. I literally woke up 2 minutes. I woke up a half hour before this video, but my brain woke up about 4 minutes ago. Bad this cop. Hey, Dave. So, focus. So, I normally don't like when they do deconstructive superheroes. I normally don't like when the superhero's secretly the bad guy. It was exciting when I was an edgy youth, but I will make one promise to you. The patriarch is a good guy. My character is a good guy. Maybe I'll talk more about him at the end of this video. But, I'll talk more about stuff like that at the end of the video. But the patriarch is a good guy. This I like because I don't know where it's going. I always play a game called Beat the Writer. So as I'm reading this, I'm trying to outsmart JM DeMatteis. And what a fool's errand that is, because this guy is a wonderful, wonderful writer. But I have the feeling that this Anyman, the new Anyman that we are introduced, he is the good guy. That's my theory. That's my speculation. And the old one is the bad guy. So he will, he will redeem this whole nefarious plot by the UN to control the populace. So the old Anyman is the bad guy, and I think the new Anyman is the good guy. So that's the story that I'm sticking to, because I don't like it when my superheroes turn bad guys, and this was really, really good. I love Greenberg the Vampire. Yes, you're absolutely right, Marcus. Dan Green, who just died a week ago. Yes, he painted it. It was, to me, when I got that. Jeremy, hello. Good to see you. I've seen a lot of new names today. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Arthur's here. Everybody, Arthur Tripp is here. Arthur Tripp worked for Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all the greats. Just how amazing. He was a woodchuck. He was one of those kids that actually transferred art back and forth to all the Marvel greats. What a childhood. So, yeah, as I was saying about Greenberg the Vampire, that to me was probably the first comic book that I thought was important. Like, I read this going, wow, it's painted, it's oversized, it's a graphic novel, this is important. And you know what? I wasn't wrong. It is important. Believe it or not, that comic, Greenberg the Vampire, and I gotta go, it's upstairs. I got my graphic novels and oversized stuff upstairs in what I call my library. How pretentious. But in my library, I got all my hardcovers, I got all my role-playing stuff among my regular books. And I read that over and over again, and it was like very personal to me. I really, really, it became like important to my role-playing game, which I've been playing now since I was 12, and the role-playing game is directly part of my comic book stories. So all of my comic book stories that if they ever see the light of day will be in part because I played role-playing games with some of the most wonderful people. And I'll put that in like an editorial in the comic itself. Sip of Tim Hortons coffee. So now, let's get to Layla in the Lands After. This was my favorite of the five. By far the favorite. So we're in for a treat here. So this is JM DeMatteis. Sean McManus. Oh my God, do I love Sean McManus. I first became aware of Sean McManus. Sometimes he broadcasts role-playing games live. That's cool. Sean McManus, I first became aware of him. He did a guest shot during Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. It was the comic that was inspiring homage. I don't want to say spoof but of Pogo, Walt Kelly's Pogo. And I just remember it was so jarring because it was so different and it was so cartoony, but I loved it. It was jarring. You could be jarred by stuff that you love, but I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then it went back. I think John Tollenburn and Steve Bissett needed a break. You know what I mean? So can't fault them for that. And I absolutely loved it. So I've been following him. Great artist, and you'll see why. Look now, check out this cover. So here we go. Oh wow, I didn't even realize this. The B cover is by J.H. Williams. So this is just top notch professionals. So we got this girl, Layla Tripp. Hey, Layla Tripp. Arthur, is this about anybody? Look, I'm not joking. Layla Tripp. Arthur. So this poor little girl, all of a sudden, she sees the light. We can only imagine what the light is, and she got hit by a car. And she wakes up. Just look at this wonderful art. She wakes up in the Lands After. Poor little girl is dead. She's got hit by a car. But look at this wonderful vision of the afterlife. The trees, the eyeballs. It should be spooky, but it's not. And here we go. Created by JM DeMatteis, Sean McManus, Arthur Halsey, colorist. I can't even retell it. Esposito, letterer. David Baldi, spellbinder. So just wonderful stuff. Look at the trees over here with the faces. So what is she doing? She's she's eating these delicious apples. She's drinking like honey from the honey river. You know, it's like Wonka. And she's like, where? All of a sudden, it dawned on her, where am I? And this actually got me teary eyed. She meets Boris, her cat. You know, and Boris the cat, he's pretended to be mad at her because it's a girl cat, and you named me Boris. You know, I'm your girl cat, and I had to live with the name of Boris. And she's like, oh my God, Boris, I can't believe it. Wouldn't that be just wonderful to go to the afterlife and meet all your past pets? I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it. My poor cat Murray, my poor cat Pixie, my poor cat Frank. You know, I would love to go and see, man, my poor cat Winnie, who just passed on. Oh man, just to go. My dog Clark. I would love to go and see all these past friends. And now we cut to, she's realizing what happened. The car hits her. She's laying in the street, and she's like, I'm dead, you know. And she's like, but I thought I was flying and everything. And who's this? Her grandfather. I am getting emotional now, you know. She's meeting all of these people. She's being reunited with her wonderful grandfather, her pets, and now she's talking about life. You know, how here's her parents. You know, when her grandfather died, she was devastated because Grandpa was her best friend. You know, I'm getting very emotional about this, but that's JM DeMatteis. He hits you in the feels. You know, he just hits you in the feels. And she's talking about her best friend in school. You know, and now you know. The shock is wearing off. It's not fair. I refuse to be dead. So now I love this. Her emotional state is changing the landscape. The trees are becoming sinister. It's becoming darkness. Why? Because she's now turning the paradise into a hell, you know, because of her emotional state. And I don't want to go any farther than this. I'm not a pirate website. So, you know, yeah, I'll stop here because then, you know, the complications arise and thus therein lies the plot. But I love this. Poor little girl taken too soon from a stupid accident. She just rode out into the street, something you and I have all done. You know, we've all had near misses when we were kids. Hell, we've had near misses when we were adults. And I don't know. This is, to me, this is my favorite by far. I should have put this at the bottom of the pile. Why is this my favorite by far? Because it's the most spiritual, the most trippy of JM DeMatteis. It's the most emotional. Like I said, it hits me in the feels, and that's what JM DeMatteis is good at. And I can't wait to talk to him. So this is number 2 of the 4, which is really 5 of his comics, and this was Godsend. It's autographed right here. He just did it. I did, you know. You want to hear something weird? Let me, guys, chime in. Tell me what you think. I don't like autographs on covers. If you autograph the comic, put it inside. I don't know. Because this just looks like a dirty smudge on my comic. So I'm not an autograph chaser. You know, I do have autographed comics, but I don't know. I just don't like it on the cover. Funny little story. I brought my Rick Remendez Fear Agent #1 to a comic convention. And yes, sign the inside. I got backup from Pops over here. I brought my Rick Remendez Fear Agent #1 to a convention, and Rick Remendez signed it in a Sharpie. Within 2 seconds, it was just a smear over the entire cover. Just a smear. Oh, God. And how old am I, Shanice? You asking me? I'm 54. So so I had to go buy another copy. It was just, it just looked like a big smear. I'm not a fan of autographs on the cover. You know, what am I going to do? Call them up and yell at them? That's the way from when I was a kid. Marcus, what are you talking about? You talked about signing on the inside? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. But look at this. This comic is an homage to Kirby. Look at this. And they make no bones about the homage to Kirby. And it's DeMatteis and Smith. So, Matthew Dow Smith and Kent Williams. Okay, why do you have siding on the inside? Yes, Marcus. Yes, exactly. Okay. All right. So what we have here right away. I love this. I love cosmic stuff, and no medium does this cosmic, wonderful adventure, end of time stuff like comics. You know, movies. TV, these all do it well. But some about comics does this the best. Maybe I'm biased, but we have here. What is the first thing? There was a tower at the end of time, at the birth of eternity, and within that tower the god slept. I'm hooked. That's it. That's it. Look at this. This is a perfect opening panel. Perfect opening page. Minimal dialogue. I'm not a. I love Chris Claremont, but there's only one Chris Claremont. And what works for Chris Claremont works for Chris Claremont, and what works for JM DeMatteis works for JM DeMatteis. And I'll find out what works for me. And you guys, please be as vocal as possible and let me know if I'm doing the right thing. But I love this little box. Gives a progression. Boom, we got ourselves an opening comic book. The gods, these alien gods, and I don't need no explanation. They've always been there. There always will be there, and they're sleeping. Perfect. Boom. And then the mother goddess, she's awake because she's concerned about her creation and her infinite offspring. So she decides to do something about it. What does she do? She destroys the tower, and the main character over here, the gods have to fall. So the gods now are falling to earth because of the mother goddess. That's it. And now look at this. Everything's more realistic. And this main character over here, he's 40. He looks like he's 50. Why? Because he eats garbage. He wakes up. He has like Lucky Charms. He goes to work every day. He takes the same path. He does the same job. He's a teacher of some sort. I'm not sure if he's a school teacher or a college professor. And there's the hot teacher that he's just too afraid to talk to. And as they're talking, they seeing that a superhero shows up and saves a helicopter, very reminiscent of Superman. And he's like, what? This man is a godsend. So that becomes his superhero name, which kind of ticks me off because that was going to be one of the names of my characters. But JM DeMatteis beat me to it. So because there's a superhero now, like there's something exciting in his life, and he can't stop thinking about it. And he goes to the doctor, and he had a doctor's appointment scheduled already, and the doctor's telling him, "Listen, man, you gotta change your diet. Your blood pressure is going through the roof. You're overweight." Yeah, I like that. I like when a doctor just lays it on you straight. Just lay it on me straight. I was talking with Brian Bow, the wonderful artist of the wonderful comic Wolf and Batsy. Just yesterday, we were talking about passive aggression versus aggressive aggression. We agreed that aggressive aggression is the way to go. I'm not talking about punching people in the face, but kind of like, let's break up, or this comic book stinks. Oh yeah, well this one could be done. Don't do that. Don't do that. If if I may give some inside baseball, a few people have been sending me things and asking me to critique it for them, and I'm happy to do it. I'm not charging any money. Like I said, this channel is about talking about comic books, and one person I gave a very harsh but truthful critique, and I haven't heard from him since. You know who it is if you're watching this. I wasn't doing it to hurt your feelings. I'm not doing it out of jealousy or anything. I did it because you asked me, and that's the way I am. I will give you a harsh and fair assessment if that's what you truly want. So he's watching the news now of this superhero, and what's going on? He feels like emotions out of his mundane existence. And I don't want to go too much farther with this because, again, I'm not a pirate website. And what does he do? God said comes and he saves from an active shooter at a school. Something that makes me uncomfortable, that topic, but, it is part of the world. And he's crying. Again, JM DeMatteis hits you in the feels. And what does he do? The beautiful teacher, co-worker, they start talking about Godsend, and she's crying, and they're making a connection, and because now there's a superhero in the world, he's getting brave, he puts his hand on, and she kind of freaks out, and the other teachers is like, way to go, dude, she's never going to talk to you again, but you shot your shot, and I gotta say, I kind of agree with them. It's better to have taken your shot and missed. That's been my philosophy my whole life. I believe it or not, up until I was 25 years old, I was Mr. Shy Guy. I talked about it in my Monday music, listening to Descendants. Why does that girl like him and not me? What does he have that I don't have? I was one of those guys. Around 25 years old, I kind of reinvented myself, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm a comic book collector, but this is me. So I just like decided that I wasn't gonna be like this shy guy around girls anymore. And you know, when I went to college when I was 25, also I started late because I had a pizzeria business. That went nowhere. So now I'm in college. I'm across the country. Nobody knows me. Who cares? And I just remember I befriended this girl. She looked like Sherilyn Fenn, and I just asked her out, and that was it. You know, I'm not going to go into the lurid details, but let's just say it was a very successful date, and you know, and whatever. Again, and that changed my life. I was just like, I'm just gonna ask for things. You know, I'm not gonna be rude. Hey, you know, give me your car keys. But like if I so on this channel, I just started asking people, do you want to come on my and talk? You want to come on? And here I am. You know, I'm not even monetized. I have less than 1,000 subscribers, and I had EVS, Ethan Van Sciver, on my channel. I got JM DeMatteis coming up. I had Chuck Dixon, Mike Barron, and Mike Barron just asked to come back. And who am I? I'm nobody. You know, Mike Barron came on my channel when I had 500 subscribers. Who am I? You know, nobody. Half those are probably bots. You know what I mean? So I just ask. Better to ask for things. So I asked Renzo if he wanted to be my artist. You know, why not? You know, you know, I ask for things. People say no. You graciously say thank you, or you graciously say okay. You know, whatever. And that's the way. So I'm kind of with this guy. He's crude about it, but I get where he's coming from. Now we find out that the beautiful teacher, you think she has the beautiful life, but she's alienated. She's lonely. Which, you know, there's got to be more story here, but I trust you. And she goes to commit suicide, and God saves her. Now, I'm going to stop there because I already showed too much of that comic. And I'm intrigued. I'm super intrigued. Where is it going? You know, I'm just fat. Again, in order of the feels, I have to say that any man gave me, okay, you know, superhero stuff. I liked it. I liked it. This, I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. Got me to like that painful longing. That you know, to quote John Cougar Mellencamp, hurt so good. Really loved it. This was the second as far as when I see a JM DeMatteis comic, I want emotion. You know, I want that sweet bitter sting of longing, and this was the second. I hate to say it, but this one gave me nothing. This was by far my least favorite. Beautiful artwork, but my least favorite. Hey man, if you need any help with art or something, I'm gonna. Oh, Marcus, cool. Marcus, would you if I may be so crude, here I am. I'm gonna ask. You know, people could say no. It doesn't hurt me. Send me a couple samples of your work on send it to J. Why can't I talk? Why can't I talk today, Marcus? Send it to John's Longbox, one word, at yahoo.com. John's Longbox at yahoo.com. You know, you're doing the right thing. You're asking, you know, I'm asking. Let's see. Oh, please, John, you're adorable. It's all about the personality. You have the sweetness. You're not an ugly goofball. Thank you. Thank you. My mom said I was very handsome. Thank you, Lacey. I appreciate it. So look at this beautiful cover. So we got DeMatteis, got Zia's, I can't put up Patterson, and Dukeshire. Got it. Thank you, Marcus. Beautiful art. I will say that this story was my least favorite, but that doesn't mean bad. We're talking about the least favorite of a master, you know. Why? Because I just didn't get that emotional connection to this, you know. But I will say this was my favorite art. This art was wonderful, and you've seen the art in the other comics. All the art is outstanding. So this and I read this first. When I got the book, I pulled it out and I read it first. Why? Because it's about like one of my favorite things. It's set in the like the Victorian era with eldritch horrors and monsters. Oh my God, this was like. What is this stream about? This stream is about Sunday Comics, and it's featuring the which is really 5 comics of JM DeMatteis, one of my favorite writers, comic book writers. He did a Kickstarter. I could DM you too. Thank you. Yeah. And then because, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself because I actually got excited and the coffee kicked in. So what happened is, I need to backtrack a bit. So there's an author called H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft is one of my favorite authors. If it's all about asking, can I have your Captain America shield? Great. Yeah, come on down. Come on down, pick it up. It's all yours, Lacey. Come on down. But you got to play a board game with me first. That's the price. So H.P. Lovecraft, he borrowed. Now it's going to bother me. But he borrowed this concept of the King in Yellow, and the King in Yellow was a play, and I love this concept. And the play itself was a spell. So whenever the play was performed, it caused a summoning of the King in Yellow, which was like an aspect of Hosper, the unspeakable, and everybody would go mad. All the performers and all the audience would go mad and literally like tear each other apart in like an orgy of destruction. Robert Chambers wrote The King in Yellow. You could actually go on Amazon or any bookstore and buy The King in Yellow, and it's supposed to be like a cursed work. Lovecraft was fascinated by it, incorporated it into his stories, and now what's going on now is this play is being performed here. So again, this was right up my alley, and the Eldritch Horror killed everybody and destroyed everybody. And here we got the ghost of one of these people years later living in this house. And what does he do? He's like an occult detective. So he's solving. So that was the origin, and actually that's not the origin. He's been a ghost already, but this play performance is like, I need to investigate this. So he's going to go and investigate this eldritch occurrence, and I was super. Maybe it's a case of me expecting too much. I got too hyped. I got too excited. Look at this wonderful art for Scioli. And it's talking about now this is his origin. He was created by an evil Dr. Frankenstein, and I don't want to go too far and spoil this. Again, I'm not a pirate website. I'm not here to give away these comics. I'm here to talk about them. And I don't know what it was. I just thought, all right, I guess I you see, now I'm enjoying it more looking at it again, but I think I kind of got caught up in the mystique of JM DeMatteis, and I wanted that longing and emotion that I get from his writing. But this is more of like a it's more like a Hellboy comic, and I love Hellboy comics. So I'm going to go back and reread this again and give it the fair shake. Now, this is Wisdom, Weird West. Look at these people. Look at these people. This is everything I want. Tom Mandrake, Jan Dursema, which I didn't realize until a week ago that they're a married couple. I just showcased Jan Dursema's artwork in my AD&D. It's good to know that she's still around, still pumping out good work. But look at this. So we got what's going on. Old Weird West. Now, full disclosure, I had approached Brian Bow about drawing a Weird West, and I don't want to talk about what it's about because it seems like Weird West is hot right now. So here I am thinking I'm unique. I've been I'm an individual coming up with a Weird West story because I'm collecting the early Jonah Hex stories, and I just love them. So that just inspired me to do a Western with and then let's not forget Mike Barron has a live right now on Indiegogo and Fund My Comic. Bronze Star by Pat Broderick. What a phenomenal artist. But anyway, I'm rambling. So I thought I was all unique and everything like that. Now I'm finding out that this is a very popular genre right now, Weird West. But look at this artwork. Wisdom, So let's look at the credits. We got JM DeMatteis, Tom Mandrake, Jan Dursema, colorist, Thomas Esposito, letterer, and David Baldy, spellbinder. Just wonderful. And it's, Wisdom. Traveling carnival show kind of thing, snake oil salesman. Look at this wonderful art. What does he have? He has a manticore, and he's showing off all of these. Just so good. Look at and again, what works for JM DeMatteis may not work for me. Look how wordy it is, but these are like supposed to be like photographs, explaining everything. It's info dump. And if it was anybody else but JM DeMatteis, I wouldn't be too impressed with it. And then it goes back to the story. And again, I'm not going to showcase everything because the shock and awe is. So I don't know if you could still get these right now. I will do a modicum of research and find out. But I think these are excellent. I have a few Simpsons and Batman and Teenage Mutant. Cool. Excellent. Chuck Dixon wrote Simpsons comics for a long, long time. People don't realize that because of all of his superhero work, but the guy's very funny. Arthur Tripp, love how you talk about Pogo, written for kids and adults. I remember a character called Bobcat. Uh, Arthur Tripp just made me. Arthur Tripp just hit on one of my favorite topics. That I think. First off, I love Walt Kelly's Pogo. I got a collection of it right over there. I got to finish reading it, and I'll showcase that. But comic, I feel like right now comic books, and I'm talking about American Western comics as a whole, are failing children. That nobody wants to make comics for children, and I'm just as bad as that. I don't want to make children's comics, but I do promise. I guess let's do, gang. How you doing, Mark? I want to finish Arthur's comment. I'm getting distracted by all the comments, and thank you guys for commenting. This is wonderful. But I guess I'll talk about my comic. It's going to be called Heroic Tales. So Heroic Tales #1 featuring the Patriarch. Heroic Tales #2 is going to feature Mary Sue, another original character. And that's going to be a goof on the concept of writers making a Mary Sue. For those of you who do not know what a Mary Sue is a self-insert. It's a not very well thought out character that represents you. So the legend has that the very first Mary Sue was in the dark ages of the 70s. Her name was Mary Sue, but I don't know what her last name was. She was making Star Trek fan fiction, and her character was Mary Sue Kirk. And Mary Sue Kirk had the same name as the author, and she was Captain Kirk's daughter, and she was the most beautiful woman, and she was the smartest, and she was the best fighter, and everybody on the ship basically just told her how wonderful it was. She solved all the problems. She beat up all the aliens. All the men wanted to F her, and all the women wanted to be her friend. And she had the same name. So it's just kind of like a goof on like a amateur writer doing a self-insert. So issue #2 of Heroic Tales will be Mary Sue. And it's going to be SU. She's Chinese American. So Mary Sue. That's her literal name. And it's going to be her story. Okay? Issue 3 will be The Raven, which is, my take on the dark, grim, by night Avenger. And then we'll go on from there. I don't want to give anything away. So my point being that each issue is going to be one and done, meaning it's a full story. You could enjoy it. You could skip an issue and still get the whole story. But if you read them all, it's all going to be set in the same world, and it will lead to something. So there you go. That's my pitch for Heroic Tales. And I would like to keep Renzo. I want Renzo to do the cover, because I just cannot stand when the cover artwork is this phenomenal artwork, and then you open it up and it's some inferior artist that worked for cheap. So Renzo will do the covers. He will do all the pencils and layouts. I asked him if he does lettering and coloring, and he said no. So I'll be looking for a letterer and colorer. And where will this come out? I don't know. I don't know yet. Will it be kickstarted? Will I submit it to somebody? I don't know. Let's do one step at a time. So there you go. That's today's video. Any questions? Anybody want to say anything before we go? And yes, to restate, super chats have been enabled. The memberships have been enabled, and it's for the sole purposes of comics. And anybody who's a member, you will get the comics. I'm going to be getting the comics here at my house. I will, I don't know if I could get Renzo to sign them. I can't make any promises. I can't speculate on what the future may bring. But so that's what I'll do. I'm embarrassed talking about this kind of stuff. If you notice, I've been doing this for 3 years. I think like 4 times have I ever done like subscribe. I don't know. I guess you have to be a salesman. I got to be more like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So. All right, I've been rambling on for 54 minutes. I'll keep talking until the comments die down, which is what I normally do. Anybody want to say anything? Anybody want to comment? It looks like the comments are dying down, so I guess this is the end of today's Sunday Comics. I stay tuned tomorrow. I will put up my Monday music where I talk about my music collection, and then this Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will have Eric July of the Ripperverse. Just ask people. Ask people. All they can do is say no, right? And if you're like me, people said no to you plenty of times. It don't mean nothing anymore. But sometimes they say yes. So just ask. Just ask. And I'm asking you guys, stick around. I'm hoping things get more exciting. I hope things get more fun. So, don't, Marcus, I didn't see this cop. Don't forget about Aaron Lopresti's Wrath of God Blood Hunt. Yes. Without being mean to anybody, Wrath of God was one of my favorite Kickstarted comics, crowdfunded comics. It was awesome. I sent out a request to see if Aaron Lopresti would come on my channel. I haven't got a reply yet. So that's not a no. That's not a no. So thanks a lot, everybody. I will see you tomorrow with Monday Music. Tuesday will be a regular video. And then Wednesday will be a talk with Eric July. All right. And then, can you believe this? This Wednesday is Eric July. The following weekend is Terry Moore of Strangers in Paradise. Man, you don't get what you don't ask for, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks a lot, everybody. And I will see you later. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.